and listen to some of his songs, you'll be glad you did. This kind of ties into the last one. This is about realizing the thoughts that serve you and the ones that do not. It's called Today I Walk Away. And every morning the light keeps getting brighter as I wake up to the truth. And every day I'm feeling so much lighter, and the world seems fresh and new. What I was taught and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. And now I'm learning to trust with the God of all of us. Each day I start anew, and so I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led to such confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led to such confusion. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Every morning brings a new beginning. By grace, another day to be. And I awaken to the sun upon me shining, lighting the way for me to see. Oh, what I saw in the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. And now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us, of yesterday, and letting go. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led to such confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that held me to such confusion. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Thank you all.
As the requestor, thank you. So I'm on a big show don't tell kick right now. Reverend Kathleen with all of her baggage. So it might seem odd that in this month of talking about prosperity, I should choose to talk about forgiveness. Unless, of course, you've read any prosperity book ever. As I researched this particular topic, what I found out is that forgiveness and issues of debt and issues of sin have been intertwined in our language for thousands of years. As a matter of fact, I'm listening to a book by David, and I believe his last name is pronounced either Grieber or Graeber. It's called Debt the First 5,000 Years. This is what I consider fun. But one of the things I learned is that, if you think about redeeming a coupon versus redeeming a soul, if you think about redemption or being a savior, those words kind of straddle the line between money or economics and forgiveness issues. To the point where, according to this book and according to the BBC, Professor Marcel, head of Germany's leading economic research institute, says that the German word for debt, Schuld, is the same as the German word for guilt. To get into debt, you have done something bad. And it's still kind of in our national psyche, isn't it? It's kind of in Western thinking that if you don't have money, you must be morally less than. It's actually a sin. And not even one of the fun ones. So what I want you to remember is that this idea about forgiveness being part of your prosperity thinking, it goes much deeper into your subconscious and your psyche than maybe you've given it credit for. But have you ever tried to save up for a house or save up for a Christmas that was going to be particularly phenomenal while paying down debt? Have you read the 17,000 blogs that talk about whether you should invest or pay down debt first? Well, okay, save or pay down debt. Okay, all of y'all are so rich you don't even need this whole month of talks, right? None of you here has ever gone, oh my God, who has taken my credit card? Who will take my credit card away from me, please? Many in my generation and younger are looking at student loan debt. Many people who are not me look at student loan debt and get freaked out. It's a number. It means nothing about the beauty of my soul. That's the difference between having financial debt and having the emotional debt. Did you know you can take... Yeah. Did you know that you can separate those two things? You can have a new thought about money. You can decide that your money doesn't define you. And you can decide that just because the values of the past few thousand years, apparently 5,000 years, say that if you have debt, that means you've done something wrong, you can decide that that simply is not true. Just like the earth ain't flat, and I don't know, think of something else that won't get me in trouble for saying up here. So I want you to think about those things that you are holding yourself in debt to. This is your baggage. Within this bag, metaphorically speaking, I have all of the ways my parents were so thorough about making sure I'd have something to talk to my therapist too about. I have my ex-husband. Just him. I have his girlfriend. I have that first cat I didn't know how to train. And everything that cat did to thousands of dollars of worth of furniture. No, I didn't feel bad when I gave it away. I came home and my bed was dry. That cat's in there, hopefully scratching the girlfriend. Ladies and gentlemen, your very human minister. In there is whoever stole that last really crispy French fry. In there is, okay, come on, guys. I must have something else in here that you also have. What else could be in my baggage? The idiot who voted for the wrong person as defined by me, who will not tell you who that is. Whoever didn't do the dishes or left the seat up. Preferably, hopefully not in the same room. Whoever decided that lobster should be deep fried. Sacrilege. I'm from New England. You steam that sucker. And then you dip it in butter. And that's the only way, and the only other option for those of you who are wild and crazy is a little bit of lemon. That's it. Okay, so I'm being silly up here, but does anyone have something they've been working on forgiving? Someone, something. You know, it's really hard to be up here when I'm also in there. The fact that I can't seem to control, I can either control my money or my eating, but not the same at the same time. I can get really annoyed with stuff that I know is petty. What's wrong with me? Stop it! Stop it! I'm making me look bad in front of God. Those old hurts from childhood, those old hurts from whenever, whatever prior relationships you've been in, whatever relationship you're in right now. Have you noticed that sometimes it's hard to forgive the little stuff? And if you work on the really big stuff, the little stuff looks bigger because you don't have anything to compare it to anymore. So what does it mean to forgive if what we want is to stop being so blah? I think that's a pretty good definition, actually. The dictionary says that forgiveness or forgiving is a verb used with an object. It means to grant pardon for or remission of an offense or debt. It's right there in the dictionary. We put money together with guilt. Absolve, to give up all claim on account of or remit. Again, there's the money thing. A debt, an obligation, to grant pardon to a person. When we forgive, what we're doing as religious scientists is not, hear this really clearly, not saying okay to continuing abuse. We are not condoning behavior that doesn't work for us. We are not saying go ahead and hit me again. We're not saying I forgive you and now I get to, except for like when I pull it out of the closet in that next argument. That's savings. That's not forgiveness. That's ammo. And we don't play that game. Well, I do, but I try not to. We're not letting anyone get away with something. We are not really doing anything that has to do with anyone else at all. Have you ever carried a resentment and then found out the other person didn't even know? How annoying is that? I've told some of you the story about going home on break, I believe it was after my bachelor's degree, and running into someone outside of our local version of Kmart. And he said, "You don't remember me, do you?" I'm like, "No, I really don't." Apparently I ditched him for a dance in 8th grade. Yeah, you know what? We call that Irish Alzheimer's in my family. We forget everything but the grudges. My grandmother was really good at it. I didn't know who this guy was. I don't remember saying I would go to a dance with him. Frankly, I don't remember 8th grade. It's too far back. And it was my first year in public school. I was so scared of these people who weren't wearing uniforms. I didn't know what to do with myself. That poor guy. okay. Did I need his forgiveness? Not really. Didn't know the guy. It's okay. I'm sure I apologize because I'm polite. But, in all honesty, those grudges you're holding against the people who might even be dead by now, they're not hurting anyone else. One of my 12-step friends taught me that a resentment like that, an unforgiveness like that, is like swallowing poison and hoping the other guy dies. It doesn't work. So what I find is that many of us come in to these rooms, come into this teaching, and we're trying really hard to forgive stuff. And it sticks. It sticks to you. Like marshmallow off a s'more. I've eaten the s'more. I'm done with it, but no, it's not done with me. And of course, I must be wearing white so that I can get that all over it, right? I'm not bitter. I'm not good at hanging on to my baggage after all these years either. That could have been interesting. So what do we mean when we say forgiveness? Ernest Holmes wrote in The Science of Mind magazine, it was published in 1998, in a correct use of the science of mind, we need to know that God holds nothing against anyone, and that divine forgiveness is a necessary complement to divine givingness. Any sense of guilt we have, any burden of condemnation we entertain, or any mental state that weighs us down hinders us from more fully experiencing the nature of spiritual reality. Any sense of guilt we have, any burden of condemnation we entertain, or any mental state that weighs us down hinders us from more fully experiencing the nature of spiritual reality. So we spend time letting go of the thought that someone done us wrong. And the problem is, in some cases, we get really hurt by what somebody else is doing. And so it's hard to forgive. It's hard to learn to trust again. It's hard to forgive yourself for having been hurt. Yes? So what do? Because what I recognize is that if I'm going to experience oneness with God by whatever name, and by the way, here we really don't have a problem with what you're calling God. God is just a word I can spell. My sister's dyslexic, so for her it's dog. So, God or George or Carrie, I don't care, is oneness. And I don't get to fully experience the joy and the prosperity of being one with my own divine nature if I'm busy holding someone else or some part of me outside God. It just doesn't work. And so I try really, really hard to work on my forgiveness stuff. Now, if you Google forgiveness, you're probably going to get 15 or 20 responses immediately on how to forgive. Okay, so one of my favorite ones comes from sacreddays.org, and it's really simple. I breathe in and I think, I accept you, and then I put in their name. And I bless you as I breathe out, and then I put in their name. So I accept you, John Q. Public. I bless you, John Q. Public. I accept you. I bless you. And I just keep doing that until there's a calmness in me. I'm accepting them for who they are and what they can do. And what they're capable of, which is not mine to evaluate. I bless them. Some of them I say, highest good, furthest distance. But I bless them on their path. And I just let them be whoever they are while coming back to my own center. And there are many things that works really well for. But I still have my baggage, right? I still have something to talk about at my next therapy session. The therapists in here are going, that's not what we do. But here's the thing. And Reverend Mark Anthony Lord, who is a wonderful teacher within our movement, once said something to the effect of, we do our forgiveness work. And what we're really doing is telling Spirit or the universe and our own subconscious that we want this mess gone. We are done with holding on to this resentment no matter how much it sticks to us. And then Spirit does the work. See, in his mind, we don't forgive. What happens is grace. So, I'd like to introduce you to Grace. Come on up. So this really is Grace. She is our newest practitioner. And she agreed to play with me a little today. So here I am. Take my luggage, please. Okay, fine. And you could just take it. But I want to make sure that you know her face and her name, because this is our newest practitioner, and we are very blessed to have her from California, right? Seal Beach, California. So yay! We will be doing a more formal ceremony, but y'all know me, so thank you. How come it's so light for you? Sure. See? I'm free.